What's good, everyone? It's your boy Nazi with another video for the channel. Welcome back to DMV Sports Zone. And I'm here with a legend, a returning guest to the channel, but a legend in his own right, Juan Gotti from Juan Gotti Talking Sports. Bro, how are you? Thank you so much for joining, and how excited are you for this discussion?
What's up, man? Legend, huh? That's high praise right there. I appreciate that, man. I'm excited to be returning onto this great platform, man. And I'm excited to talk about our Washington Commanders. We had a lot to talk about from the draft. Mini camp is upon us, so I'm excited to talk about the Commanders, and I'm excited that you allow me to be on and bless this show.
For sure, bro. And I apologize. Rio's not on right now, unfortunately. He might be on a little bit later in the stream, but we're going to keep it chugging along. The first question I want to ask you, Juan, is what are your thoughts on rookie minicamp starting? Reportedly, Sam Howell, Cole Turner have impressed, as well as others. And thoughts on that, and also thoughts on, the new uniforms being on the field for the first time and stuff, new helmets and everything. What's your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, man. So I want to start with the uniforms, man. I got a lot of slack. I got a lot of backlash for my favorite uniform being the white ones. And the white ones, the reason why a lot of people didn't like them because they're not burgundy red. They look like cardinal red, actually. They do. But I like them for some reason. I've been saying that since they debuted. The white ones are my favorite ones, man. And I can't wait to see those actually. But the season uniforms are amazing, man. I'm not the biggest fan of the helmets though. Maybe it's not the helmets per se. Maybe it's the specific helmets those players were wearing because they're kind of big and bulky and stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know if that's like the helmet like Chase Young will be wearing or Cam Curl, the specific helmet. You know what I'm saying? Not what's on it. I don't know. It just looks a little bulky to me. But the uniforms themselves look amazing. I love them. And the black ones, I can't wait to see those. I would still take the W off the front, but it is.
Thank you.
It is what it is, man. So Cole Turner, Sam Howell, impressed. That's what we're hearing. And I'm really excited about Cole Turner, man. I really like that pick. We now have a second pass. We literally have Logan Thomas all over again, just a wide receiver version. I mean, he's 6'6", has great hands. Now we don't have to rely solely on Logan Thomas to be that only pass catching threat from our tight end. Now, obviously, we know John Bates can do it a little bit, but we know he thrives more in the passing game. Sammis Reyes is still developing. Cole Turner is now that guy that can go up there and get it. And we know Logan Thomas may not be ready for week one. And if he is, he's going to be probably on a pitch count more likely than not. So we need that other tight end to go in there and step through there. And were you really comfortable with John Bates? I wouldn't have been mad if they would have said John Bates was tight end one for a little bit while Logan Thomas works his way back. But we needed to address that because behind John Bates, who did we have? We lost Ricky Seals-Jones to the Giants, who's now their tight end one there. So we needed to address that, and I'm not shocked that he's impressing only through one day because the guy, I think that's my favorite pick. I said James Robinson was my favorite pick, and I didn't even want to run him back in that draft. So for him to be my favorite pick, that means a lot about this past draft. But I think Cole Turner is going to ultimately be my favorite pick.
Okay. Yeah. A couple of things. So I was gonna get into this with our boy Rio, but what is it with denigrating or making the Redskins helmet seem like it wasn't as great as it was, and like also elevating the helmet that we have now? Can't we elevate both? Like, I think the Redskins helmet was tough. Like, I don't know if you agree with me on that one, but I also think this Commander's helmet is tough. Right. And I don't think you gotta say one is worse than the other, right? To prop up the other. So that's one thing. And I agree with you. The uniforms are sick. I'm a fan of the black uniforms. I just think they're really slick. I know even Chase Young said it in his interview. It reminds a lot of people of the Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. But honestly, I love the DC logo, the gold DC logo on the side. And I'm with you though. I hate that gold W on the top of the helmet. And Jason Wright's explanation for it, it's there because when we hit you, you'll feel it. Like, come on, bro. Like, my U Chicago brother, Jason Wright. No, take it off, please. But yeah, in terms of rookie minicamp, I'm like you. I'm a huge fan of Cole Turner and what he could bring for our offense this year, especially Logan Thomas probably not being back until maybe October with this torn ACL injury. We have John Bates in tow, but he is still a 4th round pick, right? And didn't get a bunch of reps last year. So I see him and Cole Turner potentially forming a good duo, at least until Logan Thomas comes back. Robert Thomas disagrees with us. That W hard. I don't know about that, but cool WTWJ. The gold W is weird. So definitely have some mixed opinions.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
Patrick West, am I the only one that can't hear the video? Juan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Everyone else can too, so I think it may be just Mr.
All right. Okay. So the next thing I want to ask you though, Juan, is what are your thoughts on there's some bitter news last week that broke. The Commanders signing returner and wide receiver Alex Erickson. And he did return a punt for a touchdown against us in 2019 preseason when he played for the Bengals. But what are your thoughts on what he can bring, and is he the true replacement for DeAndre Carter?
My thoughts on Alex Erickson, the Alex Erickson signing. We got a punt returner / kick returner. I'm a guy that doesn't put too much thought into punt returner / kick return because I'm not gonna say they're rare, but unless your name's Cordell Patterson, Jamal Agnew, you're not a serious threat. All I care about, just give me the ball at the 25 and let my offense work. Yes, it would be great to have a DeAndre Carter punt return, kick return here and there like he had in week 4. I don't think he had another one that rest of that season. So they are rare. So I would just, I'm a guy that don't put too much thought in it. It is what it is. Just give me the ball at the 25 or the 20. Give me a guy that is going to, you know what? I actually take that back. I care more about the punt return game than the kick return game because as much as DeAndre Carter was really good when he had the ball in his hands, the guy let the ball roll past him so many times to poor angles to the ball as a punt returner, and that cost us field position in so many games. And I hope Alex Erickson, if he is the kick return / punt returner, he can do better than that because I don't care about getting the ball and getting the punt return / kick return because again they're rare to come by unless your name is Cordell Patterson or Jamal Agnew. So just give me the ball at the 25, at the 20, and give me a guy that's gonna not let the ball roll past them and mess up our field position, man. I'm gonna be biased here, man. Jared Patterson's a guy that they had said could take punt return / kick return reps last year. And I believe at that open practice, August 6th last year, he did. Let my man get the punt return. Let my man be the punt return / kick returner, man. Let him be it. You know what I'm saying? Another guy, Danny Johnson, who was a guy that was there in the past as our kick returner. I honestly don't care that much about that specific position because we don't have an elite kick returner. Just give me somebody that's gonna get the ball at 25 and just take care of the ball.
Yeah. I'll say this: we got to shut down the whole Antonio Gibson back to returning duties like rumors. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter, Juan, but there's some people saying, "Oh, maybe Antonio Gibson can get more involved on his team if he returns kicks and stuff." Bro, he's still gonna get a lot of work as a running back, if not a slot receiver. I don't know if I agree with having one of your best offensive weapons out there in the kick return and punt return game, especially when he's already dealt with injuries in the past on our team. But I will say this, though. I mean, DeAndre Carter, truly grateful for him. He's done a lot for this community, this network. I mean, our biggest video was on him. Our biggest tweet was on him. So I'm not going to say that we're not truly grateful for what he brought to the field and also what he brought to the DMV community. But I will agree with you. He let a lot of balls roll. He also caught way too many footballs for my liking, right? And, maybe Alex Erickson could be a very good player for us. He's also here on a cheap contract from what it seems. So I'm all for it. But, Juan, what are your thoughts on the signing of Trey Turner as well this week?
Yeah. Before I get into the Trey Turner signing, I'm not as you know, not a big Twitter fan or user. Yeah. I have Twitter, but I don't use it. So I don't be saying all the craziness that y'all say goes down on there. Maybe I need to start using it a lot, but I'm just not a big user of it. I don't even have the app on my phone. So
at least you avoid the craziness, though.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm more of an Instagram person, man, but nothing really goes down on Instagram, I guess, for this community. The Trey Turner signing, I liked it a lot. I really did. I made a video on it. I think it's going to bring more depth to this team. I think he is going to maybe return back to his old form. You know, in the first 5 years of his career, I believe he was a Pro Bowler with the Panthers, and that was under John Masco. And as of late, he really fell off. But, you know, with these guys returning back with their old coaches, Andrew Norwell too, that could bring a spark and bring a guy back to life. You know, so I really would I really like the signing of Trey Turner. It's going to provide so much depth. You know, Trey Turner now, Wes Schweitzer, Sadiq Charles, Andrew Norwell are your 4 guards at this time. And you drafted Chris Paul, who could play tackle and guard too. So I really, really like the signing. Who is going to be your starter? I think, me personally, it should be Wes Schweitzer, but I don't think it's going to be, just because he provides so much positional flex, being able to play both guard positions and center. So I would prefer it to be Andrew Norwell and Wes Schweitzer, because, again, Wes Schweitzer should have been a starter in 2020. The guy came on the scene and had an amazing start to his Washington career. But maybe is it Trey Turner and Andrew Norwell now? But more of the story, I like the signing a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the signing a lot. Very cheap contract. I think it's 1 year, $3 million. Isn't too pricey, even though he had sort of a down year last year. I mean, he's not too far removed from being a several-time Pro Bowler. So I think he brings a lot to the table. He is a Commander, which Rama Barrow loves, but I'm fine with that. I really am. I've been saying throughout the offseason, we need to find a replacement for Brandon Sheriff. And although Trey Turner is not the player that Brandon Sheriff is right now, with maybe some coaching from Matsko, I think this offensive line should be all right with him. And yeah, I like it. I like it. I like the Andrew Norwell signing as well. I talked about that earlier in the offseason. And I like our offensive line. You know, we have Charles Leno, former Bear, on the left side. We have Samuel Cosme. Hopefully he stays healthy for most of the season, unlike last season on the right side. He showed a lot of potential there. Chase Roulier, hopefully healthy at center. And then we have Andrew Norwell. And we also have why am I forgetting the name? Andrew Norwell and Trey Turner on the right side. Yeah. But I do want to get to this comment. I hope MVP Bigga is talking about like all time. Because I don't know about top 5 returners right now. But I mean, 3 of the guys that I could think of: Josh Cribbs, Cordero Patterson, Brian Mitchell, Devin Hester. I guess those are 4 guys, but I don't know if you have any other guys you want to mention more.
So you said, who would you say? Devin Hester. Who?
Devin Hester, Josh Cribbs, Brian Mitchell, and Cordero Patterson. So that's 4.
Devin Hester. I was gonna say a weird name. Actually, I don't know now. I was gonna say Denard Robinson for that short time. Josh Cribbs. That's a name. Who else? Deion Sanders, maybe.
Deion Sanders, yeah.
I don't know. You know, well, kick return / punt return is a weird, you know, position. Deshaun Jackson is another one that I could think of. And that's pretty much it. Devin Hester is probably the greatest out of all of them, but yeah. Return for Kansas City.
It's crazy though, because for as electric as Deshaun Jackson is, the 2 punt returns that come to mind instantly when I think of him was when he fumbled it at the beginning against the Giants in that game, that crazy game, and then also when he fumbled it for us too and didn't recover the ball.
He got the crowd all. I remember that game too, man. Bro. He got the crowd all hyped up.
Jay Gruden brought him out there because he needed a spark.
He got the crowd all hyped up, did all this just to run back in a circle, and then oh man, that was terrible.
Bro, I remember being sick that night too, bro, and like even with my fever and stuff, bro, I was not as sick as after I saw that play, Deshaun Jackson. But yeah, Darryl Green as well, Brock Cartwright, Dante Hall for KC, can't forget him. I know there was a good back and forth. Going back to Twitter, there's a good back and forth on Twitter between him and Devin Hester in terms of best like returners of all time. So Dante Hall for sure. But yeah, I want to get to Larry Frederick's point right here though, because this ties into the draft. Even though our draft was okay, I think the draft was so backwards as in position and value. I'm tripping. So you might have gotten this feeling, Juan, from the past, but a lot of people call me pessimistic when it comes to this team. I like to say I'm realistic, but it feels kind of weird because the inverse is happening here. I'm way more happy about this draft than a lot of fans out there. I think we hit on a lot of picks. I like Jahan Dotson more than a lot of people out there. I like Brian Robinson. I think he could potentially steal a lot of the goal line carries from Antonio Gibson. Sam Howell's arguably the steal of the draft. I mean, what are your thoughts on the players themselves that we picked and also the value?
Yeah, so for me, I get called pessimistic 11. So you're not alone in that department too.
Yeah.
Actually, I believe the last community tab post before this one, or the two before this one, someone said that. Me personally, as you guys know, I wasn't the biggest fan of the draft class and or the pick and the at number 16. And the reason was that is because of what we let slide at 11. But then again, after really looking back on this draft, I can't be mad because they did what I wanted them to do. I wanted to trade back, and they did. I was just more upset at the specific player that they took at 16. But then again, they traded back, and they did what I wanted to do. So I can't be mad at what they did. And after really allowing this draft class to sink in my head, Ron Rivera did a complete 180. Last year, he drafted solely on talent and potential and what they could eventually evolve into. And this year, he drafted on players that could come in and make an immediate impact day one. Last year, Jamin Davis didn't draft him from Kentucky because he was great at Kentucky. You drafted him because of what he did at the combine and what you could coach him and turn him into in the future. De'Ami Brown, same thing. This year, you draft Jahan Dotson, a fifth-year senior. I think he's a fifth-year senior. If not, he's a senior overall.
Yeah, senior.
Fourth-year senior. And you drafted him. Funny fact, and I'm sure you guys seen that already. He was going to turn down going to graduation to be there at minicamp. Ron Rivera, being the good coach he is, told him no, go to graduation. That's a once in a lifetime kind of thing. Fidelian Mathis, a guy that didn't really play that much at Bama, but he's been there, and last year was really his first year starting.
Yeah, and had 9 sacks in a situational role last year.
Yeah, and I hear that those 9 sacks are a little misleading because it wasn't like he was just bull rushing the center or guard. Yeah. It was more that he fell into those sacks, and that was until this day. I'm not gonna turn. People can try to make me like that pick. That is the worst pick from this whole entire draft class.
I agree.
I do not like it. You take a D tackle in the second round when you have other needs. You don't even take a linebacker this whole draft, which I'm not even going to talk about because I feel like I know why they didn't do it, but you still needed a linebacker for the reason why I believe they did it. Then in the third round, you take James Robinson or what is Brian Robinson?
Brian Robinson, yeah.
I get them mixed up, man. James Robinson, Brian Robinson. You take Brian Robinson, who at first I was like, because I didn't want a running back, man. I love Jared Patterson. Yeah. I'm high on him more than a lot of people are. So I didn't want to take a running back, especially I was like, okay, I'm fine with it if they do in like the 5th or later rounds, but they took it in the 3rd round, and immediately I was like, wow, what are we doing here? But then after really allowing it to sink in, I like the move a lot. I do. I'm not more liking the pick because I think he's going to replace Gibson, man. I was watching you guys' on ProText channel, man. A lot of you guys were just disrespecting Antonio Gibson. Like, he's not an 1,000-yard back. Like, he's not a top running back in the league, in my opinion, man. A lot of you guys were just, were you one of them? I don't know if you were per se.
I was, so I know what you mean. I think Rio, who we went on here today, but Rio was on the end of the spectrum that you are talking about in terms of disrespect, like thinking like, oh, we're going to absolutely replace him with Brian. I was like in the middle. I thought, we should credit Antonio Gibson for getting over 1,000 yards last year. That wasn't an easy feat. He was one of the top rushers in the NFL, even though there was a lot of injuries in the NFC in particular at running back. I thought he was a very good player, but I also thought Brian Robinson could steal a lot of the goal line carries and potentially get more touchdowns than him on the ground than Antonio Gibson.
So I wish Rio was on here so I could ask him that. Like, I don't like the Antonio Gibson disrespect, man. Like, y'all really think Brian Robinson's gonna come in here and take over Antonio Gibson's spotlight, take over his position? Yeah, I understand he's on a short leash now because of his ball security issues, but Antonio Gibson is a guy that came in here his rookie season and took over took over the running back position for us. This is a guy that even dealing with turf toe and side injuries and all of that is a guy that still rushed for over 1,000 yards last year. Again, going back to his rookie season, this is a guy that killed the Cowboys. This is the guy that I believe was probably the most liked pick from that 2020 draft class, because obviously Chase Young, although he did win Rookie of the Year, didn't live up to that following year.
Yeah.
Antonio Gibson, like a lot of people, and I'm sorry to rant, but I love Antonio Gibson, man. He's one of my favorite players on this team behind Cameron Curl. The way they disrespect Antonio Gibson, Naughty, man. They act like this dude had a Chase Young year where he got injured and didn't produce. They talk about him like he didn't live up to, you know what I'm saying? And I understand it because he fumbled a lot, and that I get it. But the way they talk about this man, dude, you would think he just fell off the face of the earth. Antonio Gibson is still the running back one on this team, the clear cut one on this team, and that's gonna be that until he fumbles it away. And I don't think he's going to do that this year, because now he has somebody that's going to push him. So I had to talk about that, man, because y'all, and I know you weren't fully, but a lot of you guys on that panel were just disrespecting Antonio Gibson as if he's just trash, and then Brian Robinson is going to come in here and take his spot. It's not happening, man. AG is the running back one on this team. And he's going to be that for at least the next 2 years, because, everyone isn't a fan. And I'm also not a fan of paying backs. You don't need to. You can also replace them. And you have Brian Robinson there. So, yeah, man, Gibby, stop the Gibby disrespect, man. Stop the Gibby disrespect. He's a top back in this league, and I'm going to stand on that, man. But I do like the Brian Robinson pick. I thought it was a solid pick to pair up with Gibby. Now that backfield is loaded, man. I think we might have one of the best backfields in all of football, man, with 3 capable running backs that can do a little bit of both. So yeah, man, I really do like that. And then in the 4th round, you take Percy Butler, who at first I was like, Gunner, really? But
true free safety.
Yeah, but then when they explained why, and I actually looked up his not his stats, but his highlights and the reason, like his draft profile, I'm like, okay, 4.36. This guy could fly around. He is a little bit green when it comes to biting on play action fakes. So we do have to work on that. But man, if this guy could live up to where he drafted him in the 4th round, which is not really too high, right in the middle, I think we might have our true free safety, man. I that pick is growing on me a lot as the day goes on. So yeah, man, the overall, you said the overall draft value, man. I see why I was upset, because I did understand, like I do understand where I say, like, why did we take a D tackle in the 2nd round, where we could have took one in the 4th, or the 5th. Yeah. But then I also see why guys like Louis T say it doesn't matter where you take them, as long as you get them, you get them. Who cares where you got? I understand both sides of it. So I do get that aspect, but I don't know. I think I'm still a guy that may think we did draft these guys out of place. But then again, it doesn't matter, right? Because as long as you got them, you got them.
Yeah. So a couple of points. First off, going back to the chat, Tim Sports Talk saying 9 sacks or hustle sacks. If I'm not mistaken, Deron Payne had 3 or 4 total career sacks in college. I'm looking it up as we speak. I think he had 5. No, he had 3 total in his 3 years. We can talk about how they were hustle sacks, how they were against lesser competition, but we had similar players like a Deron Payne play against the same competition, beat up against the same competition, and only had 3 sacks, and he was a run stopper coming into the league. So I think what I'm trying to say with what Martin Mayhew said, with what Ron Rivera said, is that Fidari Mathis is probably going to be a run stopper in this league, but he does offer you pass rushing potential, right? And I think the 9 sacks is evidence of that. And then on the Antonio Gibson thing. So again, like, I'm in between. I think Antonio Gibson, we shouldn't discredit that he had over 1,000 yards last season. He especially finished the season off strong, albeit it was against the Giants. But and he carried us in 2020 as well. He had 11 touchdowns that year. He ripped apart against the Cowboys. defense as well. But I also think there is something to be said about two things. One, the 6 fumbles that he had. I think most, if not all of them, were on our side of the field. That's why they were backbreakers last year, Juan. Like, you cannot have that happening, right? On your side of the field, that's what sets up a short field for the opposing team, makes it way tougher on the defense. That's probably why we were so bad in a lot of the defensive metrics last year. And you can't have that happen. Like, that's going to lose you games, right? So I think that has to be said. Secondly, I'm telling you, bro, Brian Robinson, as a Bama fan, as someone who watched him in college, he is a baller. He's a bruiser. We needed, a bruiser type back in this backfield. I think somebody mentioned that in the comments. A lot of our running back group was finesse, if we're going to be honest. Although Jared Patterson wasn't there, but he was an undrafted guy, right? We didn't really expect him to do too much last year, and I don't think we should expect too much out of him in the upcoming years as well, especially with Brian Robinson now being there. But I think we needed a Brian Robinson type back. He replaces what we lost, obviously to a much lesser extent, in Peyton Barber, because I don't think you were a huge fan of him, Juan. I might be mistaken on that. I was not a fan of him at all. But I did appreciate his role on our team. And I think Brian Robinson will just have that same role times 10. Will be a very good goal line back for us. I think you'll continue to get more carries as the season goes along. And you mentioned this in your analysis of the draft class. Most of the draft class is NFL ready. Jahan Dotson is NFL ready. Brian Robinson is NFL ready. Badarian Mathis is NFL ready. Percy Butler is NFL ready. If not at a gunner, then maybe at safety. I think he could potentially be the steal of his class in a couple years. But no, I like this draft class. The value might not have been there, right? But instantly, I graded it at a B or B minus. Like, I'm telling you, bro, I guess I'm higher on this draft class than a lot of people out there, especially Tim, who I know roasted this draft class, and others. I will say this, though. Last point, second round pick. I agree with you, Juan. That was probably our worst pick. Not necessarily because of the player himself, but the position that we drafted. And also the fact that, we probably drafted Mathis or a round or two, I should say, before he should have been drafted. And I made a whole video. Tim saw this. I made a whole video talking about solely pick 47. Top 5 options there. 2 of the options were Jaquan Brisker and Leo Chenal. We had the opportunity of drafting either one of them. We didn't. And we got to live with that. But the next topic that I want to address with you, Juan, before getting a little bit more into the draft, is the James Bradberry rumors, because we sort of skipped ahead of that. Thoughts on James Bradberry? 1, being released by the Panthers, and 2, potentially being the newest commander on this team.
Yeah, so has he been released by the Giants yet?
No, not yet, but there are rumors that he's going to.
Okay. Nah. I want him. I made a video about it yesterday. Like, since I want him. I want him. This is the first time that I'm hoping our commander, our Panther pool actually works in our favor. Because this is the time that I want James Bradberry, man, and I'm praying that we could pull him away from the Eagles, man. Because I said in my video, I hate to say it, man, and even some Eagles fans are lower on their draft class than me, and I'm not even an Eagles fan, but they killed the draft. They killed this offseason, man, and Howie Roseman, man, a lot of you Eagles fans, man, y'all gotta apologize to that, man, dude, because y'all offseason was amazing, man. I hate it from a Washington fan, but from an NFL fan, you gotta be a realist, man, and you guys killed this draft and offseason, and it talks about how we're the 2 teams that are interested in him if the Giants in fact release him, and if you guys get James,
we have the same amount of money. Bro.
Yeah, and if they get James Bradberry, man, Darius Slay, James Bradberry. That's going to be crazy, but I want James Bradberry here. I need James Bradberry here, man, and I really hope Ron Rivera and this Panther pool actually comes through for this specific player because I want him, man. I do. It allows you to now have 2 legitimate cornerback ones. He's going to come in and probably be your cornerback 2, even though Will Jack, maybe, but he's making more money. He's going to make more money than James Bradberry when he hits free agency, and we sign him here to maybe. I want him for a 1-year deal because this is a all in here. And it's clear how they drafted, how they moved in free agency and some trading consequences. This is an all-in year. We're shooting for the Super Bowl. A lot of people may not think that, but we're shooting for
playoffs. Start slow.
Why stop at the playoffs?
I'm not saying you should stop at it. I'm just saying in terms of being realistic about this team, I think this team is building for the playoffs. Is what I'm saying.
I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl.
No, I know.
I'm just saying like every team is. I mean, obviously, unless you're like the team that's rebuilding, every team is shooting for the Super Bowl. But this year, I feel like this is the time that we're actually, you know what I'm saying? We're shooting for. All right, okay, playoffs. Okay, we're shooting for the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So I think Bradberry coming here, he's gonna allow you to be cornerback 2. Will Jackson's gonna be cornerback 1, and then St. Juice, man, who I am super high on, dog. I really think he can be your cornerback 2 if he takes over the reins next year. Let's say you do sign Bradberry, and he takes over the reins next year in 2023. He's your cornerback 2. I'm high on Benjamin St. Juice. I think he's really, really good. It's just injuries played a big factor last year. But when he was healthy on the field and actually playing corner, starting back in week 1 where he matched up against Keenan Allen in the slot. And Keenan Allen still made a great play on the ball, but you can't play better defense than that. St. Juice is really, really good. And I like the pick. At first, last year, I wasn't a fan of the pick. But after I seen him play, I'm like, oh, yeah, I really like him. So that gives you the ability to have 3 starting corners, man, and then you still have Kendall Fuller, who, let's call it what it is, man. Kendall Fuller, he lost a step. He lost a step, man. He's not the same Kendall Fuller, man, and it's clear. You line him up in the inside, you line him up on the outside, he's still getting cooked. I mean, what was it? 2020 where Darius Slayton just straight up burnt him, and then in the Lions game, I believe it was Marvin Jones that burnt him, and then last year, he did
Mike
have
Evans.
some woes too, Mike Evans. So Kendall, man, he has lost a step, and a lot of people want to just say moving back to free safety. I don't even know if I want to move into free safety. You know what I'm saying? So I would love the James Bradberry pick. That would have to kick a cornerback out the window, and for me, Kendall Fuller would get the boot just because I love Benjamin St. Juice's upside if he can, in fact, stay healthy. William Jackson being a zone corner coming into being a man corner coming into a zone situation, as he liked to say. He definitely turned his season around before he, got hurt. He was on the upside, and I really like what we get out of William Jackson this year. So I would definitely like the James Bradberry move, and I'm praying that this Panther regime could pull him away from any other team that's interested in him once he actually, in fact, hit free agency.
Man, you talked about the disrespect for Antonio Gibson, bro. The disrespect for Kendall Fuller is alive and well on this live stream. I don't know if you know this one. Maybe this is a Twitter thing, bro. But this man's Kendall Fuller ranked 3rd in the NFL in terms of cornerback rankings by PFF last year. 3rd. Only behind Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Terrell, who had a great year, great young corner. 3rd in the NFL last year. Looking up the player grades right now. I'm not saying Kendall Fuller is exceptional. He definitely gets beat. But, I mean, we saw Jalen Ramsey get beat several times in the playoffs this year, right? I mean, before Tom Brady returned back into the NFL, his last touchdown pass would have been against Jalen Ramsey, right? And, we heard him talk about that extensively throughout the offseason. But I think Kendall Fuller, honestly, if you're talking about bringing in James Bradberry and him being our cornerback 2, I think Kendall Fuller is a cornerback 1. William Jackson needs to show me consistent play every single week. Not just consistent play, but also being consistently healthy every single week for him to be that cornerback 1 for us. But honestly, I can see us having 3 CB1s by the end of the season. And you can never have too many great corners in this pass-happy league. There's just no way. And everybody keeps talking about 2 things. 1, the money. Where are we going to find the money? First off, he's getting released. Reportedly, he's going to be released at a stage in the offseason when a lot of money is already tied up to a lot of teams, right? Not many teams have a lot to spend. And when the top 2 teams that are reportedly out there for him, and the Eagles and the Commanders, have reportedly the same amount of money, I think that puts us at an advantage, right? Also, you have the Commander advantage, right? Which we can actually play here with Ron Rivera being James Bradberry's former coach, James Bradberry being a former stud cornerback in the great Carolina Panthers defensive system. I think we have a lot of advantage going for us. The second point that I want to mention, everybody talks about where are we going to put James Bradberry? That would be 3 outside cornerbacks. Like who's going to be our nickel back? And I think Percy Butler could play that role. I think Kendall Fuller, although he wasn't as great on the inside as he was on the outside, he could potentially play that role in spots. I think, again, you can never have too many great cornerbacks in this league. I don't care if they're outside cornerbacks, boundary cornerbacks. They're cornerbacks as is. And when we're going to have to face against A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith and the Eagles, when we're going to have to face against Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb on the Cowboys, the Giants, whatever they trot out there, Kenny Golladay and whoever else, we need cornerbacks to defend these guys. And I think that would put our defense up another notch, especially because we don't have a solid Mike linebacker right now. I mean, there's talk about Cole Holcomb potentially playing that role. I want to get your thoughts here, Juan, about that. But, yeah, I mean, I think it'd be a great fit.
Yeah, and I was just about to talk about that earlier where I said where I said that they didn't draft the linebacker because I feel like I know what they're going to do. Cole Holcomb's going to be the Mike linebacker. Thank you. He's proven that he can play the Mike linebacker. I mean, he's been lining people up for years now, but he just hasn't had that Mike linebacker role. He already has the responsibility, so why not just give him that role? He can play it, man. Cole Holcomb is the best linebacker on this team. He deserves to play the Mike linebacker. He was begging to play the Mike linebacker position last year. Give it to him, man. He deserves it. Cole Holcomb is that dude, man. His swag on and off the field. He's the Mike linebacker. Yes, they might bring in somebody else because Ron said he still wants to add more to the linebacker room. Yeah, of course. They might bring somebody else, but Cole Holcomb needs to be the middle linebacker. He needs to be the Mike linebacker, deserves to be Mike linebacker. And if he's not, you're gonna have some issues with me because he deserves it. I think my Mike linebacker needs to be Cole Holcomb. Here. I think Jared said in his live stream earlier, they might be running a lot of 52 this season, so 5 down linemen and 2 backers, which I believe that could be true. Jamin Davis and Cole Holcomb are your 2 linebackers. That's amazing right there. You know what I'm saying? As much as Jamin Davis is still, developing and he still hasn't reached his peak, you still have his athleticism out there, man. And I would prefer that than to have David Mayo over. Last year, it killed me how they had David Mayo in the game. Yeah, I know the season was over, so it really wasn't much to play for. But you had David Mayo in the game over Jamin Davis, where our issue with Jamin Davis is he's raw, he's developing, and he needs to build consistency. How do you expect him to build that on the sideline, especially in the games, because it was multiple games down the stretch where our season didn't matter anymore? You putting David Mayo, who's a guy that is only getting burned because of the injuries at that position, i.e. John Bostic being the biggest one, who honestly, you can argue, I wouldn't say he was a big loss, but as far as, the veteran presence in that locker room, as far as that position, you could say it took a hit. And that was a question that I thought about earlier, started to get off topic here, but do you think Jamin Davis's rookie season, kind of didn't go as well? Not saying he had a huge part in it, but do you think the absence of John Bostic, just being that veteran leader, may have played a role in Jamin Davis's, poor play a little bit? Maybe, but like I was saying though, they may bring in another linebacker, but Cole Holcomb and Jamin Davis are my 2 linebackers, man. And that duo, if Jamin Davis could live up, because Cole Holcomb's already proved that he's a starting linebacker in this league. He's already proved that he's a dog. He deserves a second contract alongside Terry McLaurin. A lot of people want to talk about just Terry, rightfully so.
Contract year though.
Team, the best player on this team. It's a contract year for Cole Holcomb, but me personally, I think he proved already that he deserves to get paid just like Terry. Maybe obviously on a lesser degree because Terry's the face of this franchise, he's the best player on this team. But from that 2019 second best behind John.
The guy right here is the first best. So.
Stop it, man.
It's true. That's true.
That's not. You can't do this.
It's true. Who was a Pro Bowler on our team last year? Who was the 1 of 2 last year?
He's the
Jonathan Allen, right?
Fan. You're telling me
All Pro. Jonathan Allen. I'm not saying he's the face, but you don't necessarily have to be the face to be the best player on your team.
I'm saying Terry's the best and the face of this franchise.
Okay.
And,
what? Okay, I get it. But I'll just say this off of last year. Jonathan Allen's the best player on our team, man. Maybe Chase Young might get there if he gets more than 1.5 sacks through 9 games. But
I love Chase. He's from my hometown, but we're not even talking about Chase right now. This is between Jonathan Allen and Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin is the face of this franchise. He is the face of this franchise. He's the best player on this team. Jonathan Allen is number 2.
I mean, bro.
Go ahead.
Look, like I'm a huge Terry fan too. I mean, he's the only current jersey that I have for this team. Like he's the one that, you know, I bought a jersey for. It was like a 6-7 year gap in between. And I'm a huge fan of Terry and what he brings to the table. I love Terry, but like in terms of impact last year, at least, okay, maybe Jonathan Allen might not be better, but I think it's neck and neck, bro.
Who's more important? Neck and neck.
Last year?
No.
Well, I mean, Terry, because position, receiver. A receiver is way more important than an interior defensive lineman at the end of the day. But in terms of like best player, like if you look up like NFL player rankings, I would say Jonathan Allen would probably be higher than Terry McLaurin if we're taking, you know, biases aside and stuff.
I mean, of course, to the outside eye, Jonathan Allen is going to be better as far as rankings. But to us, the team, people that follow this team, that's a fan of this team, and we are basically, we're practically insiders. No, we don't get paid by the team for it, but we're practically insiders because we follow this team super close. The majority of the population knows Terry McLaurin is the best player on this team in the face of this franchise. Shoot, I don't care. Shoot me. I love Jonathan Allen. I love him to death, and I want him here. Give me Cameron Curl second, and then Chase Young, and then Jonathan Allen. Hey, screen record this. Do what you want to do with it. The best players on this team, the most important players on this team, and the face of the franchise is Terry McLaurin. But this is my list after Terry. Terry's obviously number 1. Unanimously, however you say that word. Terry, number 1. Cameron Curl, number 2. Chase Young, number 3. And then Jonathan Allen is number 4. Shoot me. I don't care. That's how it goes. Terry, most important face of this franchise, the best player on this team. Cameron Curl, second best player on this team. Chase Young, 3rd. Jonathan Allen, number 4. He's still top 5. He's still top 5. He's still top 5.
First, the disrespect.
He's still top 5.
The disrespect of Kendall Fuller. For as much as we like to roast him, so good corner in this league. The disrespect on Kendall Fuller. Then he took it up a notch. Or the disrespect on Jonathan Allen.
Yep.
Bro, he is arguably the best player on this team, if not second best, only behind Terry McLaurin. Come on, bro. There's a reason why they started him in the whole rebound. What has Chase Young done for our team that Jonathan Allen hasn't done, bro? Jonathan Allen stayed more healthy too with all the injury concerns going into the draft. Oh, he has a shoulder injury. His time in the NFL might be short. Well, like,
I love John Allen. I love John Allen, man. He's a top player on this team, but he's just behind.
You said Cameron 4. Curl.
Yeah, he's just behind Cameron Curl and Chase Young.
I love Cam Curl too, but bro, I think you're thinking too much about the 2020 season. Last year, Cam Curl was good, but like he was not as great as his rookie season. If we're gonna be honest, bro.
Hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Cameron Curl is the top safety in this league, man. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't care. Call me biased. Say this is heavily opinionated. I don't care. All of our statements are opinionated.
Yeah,
I don't care. Cameron Curl is the second best player on this team. Second best player on this team. And yeah, you could argue Chase Young. You could argue the Chase Young one. Okay, I wouldn't be mad at you.
Argue 1.5 sacks or 9 games as an edge rusher, not interior edge rusher.
All right, okay. I wouldn't be mad at you if you moved up, you know, John one spot, but he's behind Cameron Curl, man.
Why?
That's just my opinion.
Give me. I need evidence. I need support for your opinion. You gotta back it up. Man.
Cameron
if you
Curl,
make a bold statement, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you said that. Okay, so all right, okay. Number 1, we don't have to explain Terry McLaurin why he is. You know what I'm saying? Okay. We don't have to explain why he's better than John Allen. I want to hear why you think John Allen's better than Terry, but we don't have to explain Terry. Cameron Curl, the 2020 season was amazing. The 2021 season was criminally underrated. No, he didn't have the stats like Jonathan Allen, but his impact on this team was amazing. I mean, when you count, okay, that's why I hate doing this, because you can't go back in time. How many interceptions did Cameron Curl drop last year? What? Countless times.
We're playing the woulda, coulda, shoulda game now?
No. I mean, all right, okay.
How many sacks could Jonathan Allen have gotten if he had at least one of his 2 edge rushers on either end.
I mean, all right, okay. That's a
And
fair
all
point.
the attention on him,
That's
bro.
a fair point, man. That's a fair point. All right, you know what I'm saying? But still, I'm gonna stand on my opinion. I ain't gonna back down for nothing. Cameron Curl is the top safety in this league, right? Okay. I honestly think that the impact that he provided last year, being able to cover, being able to play over top, being able to play that Buffalo nickel role, being able to come down the box. And again, his stats aren't going to match Jonathan Allen because obviously John Allen, it's on paper. All the stats that Cameron Curl provided is what if. So I guess you have to put Jonathan Allen over Cameron Curl. But my opinion, biasness, I don't care what you say, Cameron Curl is second best player on this team. I love John Allen though, man. It's not like I love John Allen, man. He's a top player on this team. Just, you know what I'm saying?
We're talking about Juan. We're talking about one of, in my opinion, the top 3, top 4 interior defensive linemen in this entire league.
He is. I'm not saying he's not. You know what I'm saying? Anybody could rearrange how they want to set up their favorite players and the top players in order to all opinion. I'm not saying John Allen isn't a top player at his position. For sure he is. He's the top player on this team. But to me, Cam Curl, man, he's that dude, man. He that dude, man. Terry's obviously number 1. And I'll give John Allen number 3. This because Chase obviously is not coming off a good season, man. But let's just be honest. Chase has a chance to leapfrog all these guys.
For sure.
Not named Terry. No one's leapfrogging.
Chase has a baller. If Chase has the type of season we expect out of him as the second overall pick in the entire 2020 draft,
he's not. It's no longer if. Chase Young must have at least 15 sacks this season.
Whoa.
15.
Man, these bold statements are coming one after the other.
If you're telling me Nick Bosa has come back off of a torn ACL with the less talent around his defensive line than what we have here, and Chase Young
is not Nick Bosa.
Chase Young, okay, but what I'm saying is I'm not expecting. I know he's probably going to get 10, 11, maybe 12. My expectations is through the roof for this guy. He must, and I mean must, get double-digit sacks this season, man. If not, I'm not gonna call him a bust because I love Chase Young. You know what I'm saying? But come on, man, come on. His expectations is through the roof, man. It has to be for this guy, man. It has to.
I mean, I agree, but like I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna end up being a bust in your eyes because I predict him getting 9.5 sacks. I predict him getting 9.5 sacks.
No, I'm playing. 15 is crazy. 15 is crazy. More like 10. All right, I'll
there you go.
15 is absurd. I understand.
10 is
more like 10. 10 is okay. But again, you look at Nick Bosa, man. I understand he's not Nick Bosa, but you look at Nick Bosa coming back off a torn ACL, not having the same talent around Chase Young as Chase Young has around him. There's no reason why he shouldn't get 10, 11 sacks. Now, I'm playing 15 is a lot. I understand. Chill. I know.
I just don't think he's ever. I mean, I hope I'm wrong with this, but I don't think he's ever going to be. He's ever going to be that huge sacks guy that gets 16, 17 per season. Like, I can't see that on Chase. Like, I think he's going to have a huge impact, but sacks might not necessarily be where his impact is made all the time and stuff. So I think 15 is a little high.
All right, I'm playing, guys. I don't got to keep bashing me, man. I was trolling. I don't really think he's going to get 15. I said 10. It's like, nah, it's all fun and games, man. I ain't really tripping.
No problem, bro. But shout out to Andrew, fellow class of 22 in the building. What's up, Nazi? Love the background. Same Zoom background. Also, seeing these videos of Dotson getting me excited. I know Juan has extensively covered Dotson on his channel already. Hope to do some more videos on him in the future. But yeah, let's get to this question first, Juan, and then we'll talk about Dotson. How many sacks does Sweat need? I think this is kind of going under discussed. Like, Sweat only had 4.5 sacks last year?
Yeah.
He didn't have the greatest of season. I know he had, obviously the tragedy that happened towards the end of the season. I mean, what kind of season should we expect out of Montez Sweat?
Yeah, so for me, just like Chase Young, same with Montez Sweat. My expectations, it's no more if Both of these guys were underwhelming last year, and they both need to produce. Now it's less like a lesser scale on Montez Sweat than Chase Young. Why? Because Chase Young was the number 2 overall pick, and at least in Montez Sweat's bad season, at least he still got 4, maybe 5 sacks. You know what I'm saying? At least he still came back and produced, especially in that Eagles game versus when he like Jalen Hurts and he picked it up, or Landon Collins then picked it up. At least he produced in his bad season. Chase Young literally didn't do anything. Like literally didn't do anything. So I think if we're saying Chase needs at least 10, 11, I think I would be fine if Tez got 8, 9, 7.5.
Okay.
Because, I mean, again, at least he still produced somewhat. Now, I would love it if both of these guys just shot out a cannon and got double-digit sacks, both guys. But how likely is that? Not really, you know. So if we're saying Chase needs 10, then Tez, you saying Tez needs, I think, about 9 too. Well, I don't know how many sacks Larry thinks Chase needs, but I say 10 for Chase or 11, and I think 7.5, 8 for Tez I would be fine with, and that's on top of, you know, obviously QB pressures, forced fumbles that they may cause and whatnot. So I think solely on sacks, I think 7.5 would be fine for me.
Yeah, I think he had 9 a couple of seasons ago, right? 2020. If I'm not mistaken. I think
his rookie year. I think his rookie year at the tail end. I think 2020 he had 9. I think like at the tail end of his rookie year. I'll look it up here. I know the tail end of his rookie year he found a groove and he was killing it. But yeah, like you said, it was unfortunate, you know, jaw injury, then a tragedy that happened.
Yeah.
So he had 7 in his 2019, and he had 9 in 2020, and then 5. So again, even though he didn't have a great year last year, at least his bad year, he still got 5.
5, yeah,
so
yeah.
I would be fine with 7.5.
Yeah, and I know there's gonna be people in the chat who say you can't measure entire, you know, defensive ends performance from sacks, and I think you can make that argument about interior defensive linemen, especially when their job a lot of the time is to set up other guys for success. But for a defensive edge guy, like sacks is like points, like in the NBA, in my opinion. Like obviously like Chris Paul, right? He's a great player, but sometimes he gets 15, 16 points a game. He makes an impact when it comes to assists and stuff, but like for most players, points is like the name of the game. And I think for defensive edge players, I think it has to be as well. I will say this though with Montez Sweat and Chase Young, I think this just goes to show how much we should never believe in all this preseason training camp like talk about, you know, players being Look, bro, didn't both of these guys say or think that they were going to break the sack record last year, and they only had 6 sacks combined to show for it? Like, you know, we also get a bunch of training videos, right, from these players every single offseason, bro. I just don't believe in any of that. I'll only believe in stuff once they start to show me things on the field. And I think that's just a general rule that I think applies in this situation when it comes to Chase Young and Montez Sweat and how they did last year. And, you know, and obviously they had terrible things go along with how their seasons ended with injuries and also obviously with the tragedy with Montez Sweat's brother. But even before that point, you know, they weren't the impact defensive end duo, arguably the best defensive end duo in the NFL that we thought they could potentially be last year. DC for life though. Chase should be better. That's it. See, Juan, that's a key word. Should be better, but he's not better right now. I think John Allen showed that he was a better player, like off of last year. But I think Chase Young, I agree with you. I think in terms of potential, he has the potential to be the best player on this team by far. I agree with you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he should. He's the number 2 overall pick. You know what I'm saying? But
generational player.
Y'all just bro, Cam Curl, man, he's just that dude, man. I'm sorry. Simple as that. We all have that player. We all have that player on this team that everyone is just, you know, that's just their favorite, and they're not coming down on if they don't matter if they're the best player on this team or not. Like for the longest, Tress Way was the best player on this team. And that's actually not a lie anyway.
Yeah, that is. It's 2019. You only have to go back to 2019 or 2018. Yeah.
2019, Tress Way was our best player. But I love Jay, man. He's the best player on this team. I mean, my fault. That's what Naughty want me to say. He's not the best player on this team. He's the top player on this team. He is one, obviously, and that's why he's on the background. He is 1/3 of the face of this franchise, or one of the 3 of the face of this franchise. So I love Jay. Don't think I don't like him. I just love Cam Curl a little bit more, man. That's my dog.
I mean, I know a lot of people are going to say, Nati, stop bringing up PFF. I mean, John Allen had an 85 PFF rating. Cam Curl had a 69. I know nobody cares about this, but on Madden, John Allen is like an 87. Cam Curl is like a 75. All I'm saying is that, listen, Cam Curl, listen, I'm a huge fan. Bro, we literally had his dad on the channel several times, bro. He's one of the kindest people that like I've ever come across on this platform. He's super nice. And Cam Curl is as well. And he's a great player. And when he brought the bro, you're not on Twitter, but Bleeding Burgundy and Gold, Jalen, who we had, I believe, last week, not a couple weeks prior on this channel, he tweeted out saying that DJ Swearinger, this might be a hot take, but DJ Swearinger gave us their best safety play in the last decade. And I instantly responded saying second, only behind 2020 Cam Curl. So, like, again, this is just showing you how much I appreciate Cam Curl and what he brings to this team.
It's the same for me though. Like as much, even though you. No, I'm just saying. Even though you don't think. No. I was about to say, even though you don't think Cam Curl is the best player or have above John Allen, you still love him. Same with me. I don't think John Allen is above Cam Curl. I still love J.A. But you brought up Madden.
You love him, bro. You love him enough to put him at number 4 right now in terms of best players on this team.
All right. Okay. All right. I'll rearrange it. I'll put him at 3 because Chase Young still is a question mark. Okay. 3. Does that make you feel better?
No.
Listen, John Allen. You bring up Madden. John Allen's a first-round pick, of course, and he's actually good. He's actually good, so of course he's going to be better than a 7th-round pick. Nobody outside of this organization that follows this team as close as us know how good Cam Curl is. And that could be same said for John Allen, but John Allen is now, with the dominant season that he's had and Pro Bowl selection that he's had, more people are trying to know who John Allen is. A lot of people still don't know who my man Cam Curl is, but that's okay. This year, my man's going to go off, man. He's going – man, I hope he's working on his hands somewhere, man, because he could have. And then I hate saying what if, because you can't go back. But if he just had better hands, he probably would have had about 5 picks, and this would have been neck and neck even more. Because how many sacks did John Allen have? How many sacks did John Allen have?
9.
9.
9 or 9.5. Yeah.
I love John Allen, man. I'm getting his jersey soon. I don't know if I want the black one or the white one. I'm getting his jersey. I don't think but
so you're gonna rep the 4th best player on this team.
It's nothing wrong with being the 3rd best, 3rd, 4th. Nothing wrong with it. I love these guys the same. Just the first 2 players I love a little bit more. Cam Curl and Terry. Sorry.
I mean, okay, it's fair to like love these players. Like, love a Cam Curl over a John Allen. That's fair, especially when Cam Curl makes more splash plays. But, like, we're not talking about which players you love. Because I think Terry is probably the player I love, like, all of us love the most. But we're talking about best player on this team as of May 7th, 2022. I mean, it's only a debate between John Allen and Terry McLaurin, bro. Like, I'm sorry.
Is it really a debate between those two? I mean,
yes. I mean, for me, it's not. I think John Allen's better. But for you think Terry's better. That's why there's a debate. Yes.
Oh, my God. Terry is the best player on this team. Terry, since stepping on that field week 1 versus the Eagles, should have had 2 touchdowns, by the way, but Case Keenum wants to overthrow one.
Yeah.
Terry has been the best player on this team and on the field since 2019. Imagine if Jonathan Allen, I can't even make that comparison. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, Terry, and I'll bring up this picture. I'm glad I screenshotted it yesterday. Look at this. This is Terry since entering the league. I don't know if it's gonna focus or whatnot. I don't know if it is. Maybe I could just send it to you and you could pull it up here. Look at this, man. Since Terry has entered the league, and John Allen, I shouldn't even have to say anything after that. Okay, we can exclude Cam Curl, but we can have the argument between John Allen and Terry. I just sent it to you.
That's the only argument.
That's the only argument, pull up that picture or whatever and show them, we shouldn't even have to argue anymore.
Did you send it in the private chat? Or
no. I sent it on Instagram. I don't even know if you can send it on private chat.
I don't.
Yeah, no, I sent it on
I'm
Instagram.
not sure.
Let's see.
To the DMVSportsZone account?
Yes.
Or
yeah, I sent it.
I don't see it.
Oh wait, hold on.
I don't see it.
No, I sent it. I sent it to myself. Here
You could also if there's a link to it, you could just post it in the public chat.
Oh yeah, no, it was an image.
Oh, an image. I don't know.
D.S. Ranger was a beast. They canned him because he knew. Oh yeah, I was just thinking about that the other day. D.S. Ranger was really, really good, but the reason why he was gone is because he called out Greg Minuski, which he wasn't wrong for. So,
yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with being the second best safety that we've had. I wouldn't even say in the decade. I would say since Sean Taylor, right? Like D.S. Ranger was great for us. He had 4 picks in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the season. Or I think it was 2017 when we traded for Clinton Dix. Or no, 2018, I think. When we traded for Clinton Dix because they thought, our defense was super good. So why not add another defensive guy that might just bring this into being a Super Bowl? I know. And then it ended up
I was so happy. I was so happy about that pickup, man. I was like, oh my God.
Bro, arguably the best safety duo in the NFL, bro. Like everybody, bro, was hyped.
Hey, now we're gonna have that with Cam Kerr and Percy Butler, man.
I don't know about this. Maybe in the future.
No, I'm
high on Percy Butler too, bro. Like, I don't know, something about the pick. Like, I think he can instantly push for starter reps over Bobby McCain. Like, ASAP.
I hope so.
Like,
I hope so. I'm okay with Bobby McCain being resigned, but he's not no starter. He better not be. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a big Bobby fan, man. I'm not, and I think that Giants game saved his tail, man.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, having 2 picks on Jake Fromm, bro, definitely increased the amount of money he was getting paid on this new contract. But no, I kind of miss DJ Sarian. I'm not gonna lie.
I miss his attitude. I miss
two spoons.
Yeah, I miss the he kind of. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but the pregame, I missed the attitude that he had, man. You know what I'm saying? If we're talking about old guys we miss, I miss my man Pot Roast, man, Terrence Knighton, man, and Chris Baker. That was a sneaky duo, man. I swear it was. Swag and Pete.
Yeah, the duo went back too. I think they grew up together. Yeah, it's really cool. But I do want to ask you one more question. I don't want to keep you on for too much longer, but okay. Let me ask you this quick one first. Thoughts on Jahan Dotson? What he brings to the table for our offense, and how dynamic you think he's going to be along with Terry?
Yeah, so a fair opinion on Jahan Dotson. Of course, I wasn't too high on the pick. Night 1, so honestly, like I can't be too mad. Like I said earlier, I can't be too mad at the pick because I wanted them to trade back. I wanted them to trade back. I just wasn't the biggest fan of the player per se. But again, they drafted him like Jared said in his stream. They drafted him because of character, and he was saying that if they drafted him because of character and talent, then he's worth the 16th pick. But if they drafted him solely on talent, he's not worth the 16th pick. You know, Ron Rivera drafted him because of his character. That's no question. It's no if they drafted him because of his character. Like, that played a factor in the reason why they drafted him. So and shout out to Jets for making that good point there. If that's the reason, which we know that is the reason why they took him, that plays a part in the reason, then I'm happy with the pick at 16. But then again, the reason why I wasn't so high on it is because look at the players you allow walk past at 11. Kyle Hamilton was there. Jameson Williams was there, man. You know what I'm saying? But then again, it's like if you do that, then you don't get Howe in the back end. You don't get Brian Robinson, who I don't care for, honestly, because Antonio Gibson is the running back 1 on this team, is the best running back on this team. And he's going to prove that this year.
For now.
Not for now. He is. He is.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, man. So you mad at me?
It's not disrespectful. I'm just saying for now, like Brian Robinson in the future, maybe.
That Antonio Gibson disrespect needs to stop. It needs to stop. Antonio Gibson is a top back in this league, man. He's a top back in this league. You know what I'm saying? But
for now,
you know what I'm saying? You gonna throw up for that? No, but all seriousness, man. Jahan Dotson, man. Although I'm not the biggest fan of this selection, I have no reason not to root for him. I don't hate the guy. He's on my favorite team, so of course I'm going to root for him. So if he makes me eat my words and he's actually a 1,000-yard receiver, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to love it. You know what I'm saying? This is what we need for Terry. We need this for Terry. So it's not like I don't want him to be successful. We need someone to help out Terry, obviously, right? But after looking at it, my player comp for him is still Marquise Hollywood Brown with better hands, because obviously, Marquise Hollywood Brown can't catch a cold. He has elite hands. So Jahan Dotson is Hollywood Brown with elite hands. So the overall pick, I'm not as low on it as I was night one. I'm happy that he's working in the rookie minicamp, that he's looking sharp. So it's okay for me. I need him to come in here and make immediate impact. I'm not gonna be babying these players anymore, man. I need at least 700, 800 yards from him. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be worth that 16th overall pick, I could be crazy and say 1,000 yards. I'm not going to say no 1,000 yards. Why? Because Terry McLaurin's going to get 2,000 yards. Now I'm playing.
Curtis Samuel's also there.
Yeah, man. And De'Ami Brown, who I'm expecting a better year from too. So overall, the pick for me for Jahan Dotson, it's growing on me more than what it was. Night one, you couldn't tell me nothing, man. I'm still not sold on it because I have to see him play. Just how I'm not sold on Carson Wentz because I have to see him play. I learned my lesson with being sold on these players, man, before seeing them play. So I have to see him play, man. But I like what he can bring, the speed, the great hands, man. I mean, this guy, it's like he has sticky glue in his hands. He sleeps with the football, so you know how much he loves the game. So overall, I'm just waiting to see approach with Jahan Dotson, and I'm excited to see what he can bring to this table.
Yeah, it's crazy. We didn't even get into our Carson Wentz thoughts, bro. I thought that probably would have blew up this whole chat with. I don't know if you see my thoughts in the past, but yeah, I'll say this on Jahan Dotson. So I was, we talked about this off camera. I was there at FedEx Field during the draft party, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people were excited about the trade back. A lot of people were pissed that Kyle Hamilton was picked at 14 to the Ravens, but I predicted that as soon as we traded back because I thought he is a Baltimore Raven, bro. Like, even before he got drafted to the Ravens, like, Kyle Hamilton is like your prototypical Raven, in my opinion. But when we picked Jahan Dotson, people weren't too happy, like, in the stadium and stuff. So a lot of people were like, who? But I'll say, like you, with each passing day, I become more of a fan of Jahan Dotson. Not just more of a fan, I think he's going to ball out, bro. Like, your comp was Marquise Brown. I know you've probably heard this comp around, but I think he's our Tyler Lockett. Like, he plays bigger than his size, great route running. I mean, the best hands in the draft. He holds a football around, like you said, like, everywhere he goes. I mean, he has all the tools that you want out of a starting receiver in this league, and he's also a very good person, bro. Like, with every single interview he does, bro, every single presser, like, he just shows you that he's a good all-around dude coming from a great family. Obviously, his mother is dealing with something, very difficult right now, and saying prayers to, I think she's dealing with cancer, sending prayers to his family and stuff. But he just, it's crazy. Like, through all of that, he's been able to focus on his academics and also, obviously his athletics and stuff. And I think he's going to ball out, bro. I keep saying I'm going to make a video about this. But hopefully I'll make a video about Jahan Dotson as well and talk more about my thoughts there. But I'm a huge fan of him, huge fan of what he brings to the table. And again, I'm higher on this draft class than a lot of people out there, and that starts with Jahan Dotson. But I want to get to this last question from you, or answer from you, I should say. Where does this team rank in the division right now? What do you think is going to be our win-loss record? And where do you think it ranks? And then I guess you can kind of get into the Carson Wentz thing here, sort of, because, Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott. But go ahead.
This is tough. For the draft, I said we were number 2. We're number 3, man. We're number 3.
You said, before the draft. Okay.
Before the draft, I thought we were number 2. We're number 3. We're number 3 behind the Cowboys and behind the Eagles, man. I actually think the Eagles are better than the Cowboys. The only thing that's holding them back is the quarterback position. Dak Prescott is still the best quarterback in this division. But if Jalen Hurts wasn't such a question mark, I think the Eagles would be the best team in this division, man. That's brutal, honest. I hate to say that with all the gut in me. It hurts, but I got to be a realist, man. We're the 3rd best team in this division. And the reason why is just how the Eagles are, they're the biggest question mark for them is quarterback. Same with us, Carson Wentz. Depending on how Carson Wentz plays this season is going to ride on our success. If Carson Wentz if he could return back to half of, I wouldn't even say 2017 MVP season. If he could just turn back to that 2018 2019, even when he carried that bum Eagles
2019,
wide
yeah.
receiving core to the playoffs. If we can get that out of him, then we probably come in second place or even win this division. But again, since he's such a question mark, and even though Jalen Hurts is such a question mark, I feel like the Eagles with getting H.A. Brown and having Devonta Smith and then having Dallas Goedert and Miles Sanders, weapons around them is just amazing. And so if we're projecting solely based off of the weapons around them, and since we both know both of our teams are quarterbacks are question marks, I still think the Eagles are probably better than us, man, at this current juncture, man. I hope I'm wrong, but I do think we are the third best team in this division behind the Cowboys, behind the Eagles. My win record is going to be different than how it was in past years. My win record is going to be on what we must do. You know what I'm saying? Normally, I have a prediction of what I think we're going to do and what we can do. What we must do this year. We must, and there's no reason why we shouldn't win at least 10 games this season.
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
I mean, we're all in this season. This is a 1 year. This is a 1 year rental. You know what I'm saying? We're all in this season. Depending on how this season goes, we're either going to ride with Carson Wentz into the future, or we're going to be set back. And we're not going to be really too much set back because we can just run it with Sam Howell. But this is all end year, man. So I see no reason why we shouldn't at least get 10 wins. So I think 10-7 is where I'm at right now. But I still do think we're the third best team in this division on paper, obviously.
Yeah, in terms of ranking teams in this division, I agree with you. I think the Eagles are better than us. I'll get into my Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts.
Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about that yet.
I think the Eagles are better than us in terms of entire roster. I'm not even obviously considering the quarterback, but like it's not just the quarterback. In terms of entire roster, I would take the Eagles roster over the Washington Commanders right now. But this is probably where I disagree with you, and I think this is getting at forgot whose point it was. Washington Command Center's point. Cowboys lost a lot of players this offseason. Right now, in my opinion, obviously this is not going to be how it is at the end of the season, right? Because it's always 1, 2, 3, 4. But I think it's 2A, 2B, Cowboys and us. Like I think there's a clear number one. Well, I wouldn't say clear, but I would say the Eagles are a tick above the Cowboys and the Commanders. But I think Cowboys and Commanders are pretty much neck and neck right now. My season win, and also this is a point that I disagree with you. You had us drop in a ranking because of the draft. I have us winning an extra game because of the draft. I know I've been saying 9-8 throughout much of this offseason, but I can see us winning 10 games as well. I think the roster is good enough for it. I think Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin are going to form a very good wide receiver trio, especially if Curtis Samuel stays healthy. But this goes back to the Brian Robinson thing. I think we're going to be able to run the ball late in games, turn the clock out, do more of what we did against the Buccaneers, right? I think it was a 10-minute drive, right? One drive. We essentially ran the clock out on the Buccaneers, didn't let Tom Brady go back on the field. I think we're going to be able to do more of that with Brian Robinson in the running back group. I think that's an under-discussed point, and I think that's what they were thinking of when they drafted Brian Robinson. And yeah, that's how I have it going. Are you predicting 10 wins and third in the division? I think this is where you want.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is third as of now, third in the division based off paper. So I'm not saying we're gonna be third, or not. I'm not predicting third in the division like solely, but as far as he's saying rank them solely based off of what I see on paper, I think the Eagles are a better team than us as of right now. I do think the Cowboys, they definitely lost a lot of talent this past offseason, no question about it. But with having that number one position in all of sports figured out, you still have to take that within consideration. I mean, we always think, I'm not gonna say we always think, but we always question Dak Prescott, and then he always, when he's healthy, proves why he is top 15 in the league. Maybe that may, and all bias aside, that may be too low for him. He may be top 10, maybe. I don't know how in some people's eyes. I say he's right fit top 15. Mm-hmm. So with them having even though they lost a lot of weapons, even with them having weapons that they lost, Amari Cooper, I believe they cut Blake Jarwin. They lost Cedric Wilson, and that's not even talking about their Lyle Collins that they went to the Bengals. So yeah, they definitely did lose a lot of pieces, but with having the most important position figured out in all the sports, that has to take a ton with you. Just how the reason why we're third on my list, on paper, is because the question mark of Carson Wentz, we don't know what he's going to be. Is exactly why the Cowboys are still the best team in the division on paper, is because they have the quarterback position figured out. And although they did lose Amari Cooper, they still have Blake Jarwin, or Dalton Schultz rather, who is really good in my opinion. They still have Michael Gallup, who arguably it could have been a wide receiver too if it wasn't for Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. And he's probably going to prove that this year. He's still really, really good. Tony Pollard, who I think is the best running back on their team. He's better than Ezekiel Elliott in my opinion. And they still have Micah Parsons, who, God, we still have nightmares from him last year. Trayvon Diggs, who's trash. I don't care what nobody says. He's trash. He's
okay.
He gave up 1,000 yards in the. Jalen Ramsey made a good point, although in that podcast, not to ramble, but he made a good point. He said he's a guy that takes chances. So with giving up 1,000 yards, he better have 12, 13 picks or whatever he had. So again, he's okay. He's not good in my opinion, but he's okay. He like you say, he's okay. But yeah, I do think the Cowboys. He says Dak still didn't look amazing last year with everything around him. Now he's less. No, you make a good point. But again, this is solely on paper right now. So I can't take us over. Maybe I could take us over Philly, but I'm still not. I'm still going to sit with us being the third best team in this division. You cannot have Dallas number one. If you're going based off of last year and on paper, you know what I'm saying? Because you cannot take Dallas under Philly or the Commanders. Based off,
I think they're neck and neck.
Based off of projection. Again, it's for us and just like the Eagles, but solely for us because nobody cares about the Eagles. I hope they do terrible. For us, biggest question mark is quarterback. That's the reason why I have us number 3. You can switch Eagles and Washington around if you want to. But the reason why I didn't do that is because I think, like Nadi said, they have an overall better roster than us from both sides of the ball. That's the reason why they're number 3, or we're number 3 and they're number 2. But if you want to switch around, if you think we have the overall better roster than the Eagles, then you can switch them around if you want, because the biggest question mark for both teams is the quarterback position. That's, again, why you cannot put Dallas under either two teams, because they have the most important position figured out.
I get that. I just feel like you can more so switch the Cowboys with us. I think the Eagles, again, I think the Cowboys just lost a lot of players this offseason, whether it be depth or actual starters. I mean, you can't downplay the Amari Cooper loss. I know he gets injured a bunch, but at the same time, I mean, he was arguably their wide receiver 1. A lot of people are not going to talk about this, but CeeDee Lamb, I mean, maybe he put up the stats, but bro, he was not consistent last year at all. Fantasy-wise, because I played fantasy football, or regular, real life wise, I don't know, man. I really don't know about the Cowboys team. Obviously, we definitely don't know about their playoff chance, or at least once they're in the playoffs, we don't know about them making a run or anything. I don't think we think that. But in terms of regular season, I don't know, man. I think our roster is pretty comparable right now with the Cowboys, other than quarterback. But thank you, unknown IZM, for this, because a lot of people were saying, Nazi, how could you put Hurts ahead of Wentz? Guys, go online. I mentioned this with Corey last night. Go online, look up quarterback rankings, look up various sources. I promise you will be surprised. Most sources have Hurts ahead of Wentz, bro. I'm not even just saying this to support my opinion. I'm saying this because it's a fact. Go online, look up various outlets. And I'm not saying these outlets are the gospel. I'm not saying they're always right, especially Bleacher Report, which oftentimes is wrong. All I'm saying is it gives you a perspective that is not a Commander's perspective, and that is not an Eagles perspective, a national perspective of these quarterbacks. And I think that's very important in discussions like these.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, I think I would take Carson Wentz over Jalen Hurts, though.
Okay.
I would put him at number 2 over.
All I'm saying is that it's not crazy to put one over the other. Like,
yeah, that's not crazy. But me personally, I would still take Wentz over Hurts. He says, "What did the Eagles do to put them ahead of us?" Well, honestly, they got Jordan Davis. Who is going to be really, really good for them. Their defense was already okay. Getting AJ Brown, like I understand. Shout out to Washington Commanders sitting for the next comment after that when their QB is a problem. How much is it? I understand Jalen Hurts is a question mark, and that's the biggest reason why, you know what I'm saying, they're below Dallas and they're neck and neck with us, because both of our teams' quarterback situations are question marks. But AJ Brown, it's not like we don't know what he can bring to the team. That team has 2 number 1 receivers now. Like, that team has a phenomenal run game. We seen that's the reason why they got into the playoffs last year, because they leaned on that run game, and their coach Nick Sirianni finally got his head out of his butt because he finally went with what was working. That's run game. So I do think they're not ahead of us by a lot. It's just the quarterback situation. I think if our quarterback situation goes bad, we are going to be in a worse situation. Let's look at it like that, okay? I'm glad I just said that. Let's look at it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, say both teams' quarterback situations goes bad. Let's say Jalen Hurts doesn't have the next year leap that they may thought he had, and let's say Carson Wentz is not good for us. Who team do you think is then going to be in a better situation to then still be competitive and successful? The Eagles or Washington?
And you said playoff success? I'm sorry.
No. Just overall. No, you're fine. Just overall. If both teams' starting quarterbacks goes down, down the pipe, who do you think would still have the better, like, let's say season whatnot or whatever?
Eagles or us?
Yeah, Eagles or us.
Eagles, because they have the better roster.
Exactly. That's my point. That's my point that I'm making there. For Washington Commanders Center. Again, they're not that much better than us, but if we're talking as of May 7th without seeing these guys be on the field, because in 2 months from now, when we're on the field, Washington could be the best team in this division, which I hope so. I hope we are. Just because I'm being a realist doesn't mean I'm not a fan at the end of the day, and I'm not hoping that we go 17-0. God, I wish, you know what I'm saying? But we just got to be realistic here.
Yeah. And also, you can't forget about the Nakobe Dean addition as well. I know there are injury concerns and stuff, but I mean, that was kind of a steal, if we're gonna be honest. I'm not saying a lot, but like, there are some people who were in this chat today that thought that Nakobe Dean might be a realistic guy for us in the first round, if not second. I'm just saying. I
would have took him over for Fidelian Mathis. I understand his injury, but sometimes you can't take. Sometimes you have to take a risk on those kind of players.
Yeah, and my last point, this gets on what you said at the tail end of your comment about fans and, us being less of fans because we critique this. Bro, I'm tired of that talk. I thought that was like something that never happened before getting onto like the YouTube platform, but bro, it happened so like people will ask me like, Nats, why are you a fan? Like you're less of a fan than us because you critique this team. You're realistic about our chances, bro. We're all fans at the end of bro. We are literally gonna bawl in tears if this team ever wins a Super Bowl, bro. We're literally fans of this team. Like, we're loyal to this team. I think it says a lot that we're both young people still supporting this team when a lot of our friends are Ravens fans or they went on to other teams in the NFL. Like, we're still here. We'll always be here. We'll always cover this team. And we're no less of fans than you guys are because we're one community, we're one family, and we want this team to do well. That doesn't mean we can't be realistic when critiquing this team or thinking about their chances. But with that being said, Juan, thank you so much, bro, for being on the channel. I'm sorry for keeping you over, but
no, you're fine, man.
Anything you want to plug before we sign off?
Yeah, man, I appreciate you for having me on, man. You never have to apologize, man. It's no time limit, man. We're talking about the Commanders, man. I love doing this, so I appreciate you for even inviting me on, man. It's an honor. You can follow me on Instagram and YouTube at Juan Gotti Talking Sports. We're on the road to 4,000 subscribers. I think we're like 90 away from 4,000. So if you guys can help me go over there and give me the 4,000, that would be amazing, man. And at the end of the day, doesn't matter how much we critique this team. I'm glad you said that. We all love this team. Although I'm not as high on Jahan Dotson, I'm going to root for him come September. So it is what it is, man. We're fans of this day, but we critique this and we accept it because we know this is what comes with this kind of platform and job that we have. So I love this team. I love this community. I love everyone in here, man, because we're all fans at the end of the day, and we're hoping that we can finally take that year 3 leap. But yeah, man, it's me, your boy Juan Gotti. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube on the road to 4K. Shout out to Nai for having me on, man.
No problem, bro. Larry Frederick right here. I'm thankful for y'all. Keep it up. Appreciate you, Larry. Appreciate everybody in the chat that joined today. Great comments, great questions. And yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you again, Juan, for joining. And it's been a fun one. Unfortunately, we couldn't get Rio on, but hopefully in no time we will. But yeah, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the DMV Sports Zone channel. We like to post fire content like this as much as possible. Also, go follow our Twitter page at DMV Sports Zone, Instagram page, all lowercase DMV Sports Zone, and our TikTok at DMV Sports Zone as well. Shout out to Rockman, Washington Command Center. 13 and 4. Hopefully, bro. Hopefully, that would be amazing. This team, this entire area would go crazy.
I hope so, man. I want that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Larry Frederick with the last comment. But see you guys on the next one. Hopefully, I kept saying I'm going to make videos. I'm going to make videos. Hopefully, there's going to be more of that content soon to come. But see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace.